morning and welcome back. This is still Post and Perspectives. If you're just joining us, welcome. Basically, what the segment of the show is all about is we find out what you're saying about us on social media or the topics that have been discussed, because everything you say means a lot to us. My name is Swift Aderito, and like I say, let's jump right into it. So one of the topics that was discussed today is Brazil sign 8 billion green initiative partnership. And the first person is Ponty. Ponty, how you doing? Ponty says, okay, so how much of the 8 billion will Nigerian government actually invest, Kene? And you say after looting their share, and that is if they invest at all. Come on, we're going to invest that money, don't worry. A lot of green is coming up. And the next person has to be Ogidi of Abuja. How is Abuja today? We greet you, sir. And you say, don't just give us sweet headlines. What are we giving them in return? You're a give and take person. You said Brazil cannot invest so much in Nigeria agro-business without interest. But nevertheless, with time, everything would be revealed. I just hope they are not bargaining with the future of our children. Kene. And of course, we have Big Runs, and Big Run says Brazil is dropping 8 billion into Nigeria's agro-business. It's cute that they think throwing money at it would fix the mess. Maybe they should invest in teaching Nigerians how to actually manage what's already here instead of sowing new crops to wither away in corruption. Dr. I'm here for you again. I know you've talked extensively on this, but somehow, all the comments are not believing that this money will be utilized properly. Some feel that there will be some O1 and some private jets. What do you think?
Well, like they said, the greatest predictor of what will happen in the future is what was done yesterday. And I think that is what a lot of people we just finished having a conversation with Anisaki about the loss of trust in terms of governmental system. And that poll was for the United States. And I think if you have to measure it in Nigeria, it will be far, far, far higher. How much people have lost confidence and trust in the ability of governments to keep their words. And I think beyond MOUs, Nigerian youths want to see things on the ground that are working. It's enough to throw figures and say, oh, we've signed this, we signed that. People want to see that this is translating into more food, it's translating into more jobs, it's translated into more houses, good roads, better airports, and the rest of it. And I think this is what government should be working at. But it's sad, really, to see that we are resorting to Brazil that had once looked up to us in the 1970s. And now we are looking up to them for help. And I think the current regime must have to do something so that they can begin to look up to us in terms of pioneering the growth of the third world, really.
So much, brilliantly said. Talking about looking up to us, like Doctor said, they say young Americans lose trust in the state. Gen Z. All right, so the first person has to be David Parrish. Hi, David. David says, is the lack of confidence due to Trump's leadership or Trump's unwavering of the years of mismanagement, waste, and fraud by multiple admins or administrations? And the next person has to be George R. Lawson. George, how you doing? Or Greg. You say many will likely interpret this as a critique of Trump, but it should instead be viewed as the reason for Trump. Good one. You say the institution America trusted were already in a deep state of decay before he ever descended the escalator. Only in such a time could someone like Trump ever rise. In other words, whether you think he's trying to arrest the decline or accelerate, many academic, business, and policy elites need to look into the mirror or grapple with their own roles in the decline. That's very brilliant. And of course, the last one has to do with Dog's Breakfast. Hi, I love your name, by the way. You say, why would young people anywhere like or even accept the train wreck they've been handed? A climate catastrophe on the way, a massive population that couldn't be supported, and a global and fuel economy that is making it all worse, and an American political administration engaged as if it's all house of mirrors. And the beautiful woman who always, sits head and shoulders with the men and does fantastically well. Blessing. American youths do not believe in their national thing. We see it in Nigeria.
Sorry, it is not a Nigerian thing only. After all, not really us.
So what's your take on this?
Well, I think that the Biden administration didn't quite do very well in building trust with the American people. It seemed that they were tossed here and there a lot. And so that's really affected the young people. You understand that young people are quite impressionable, but at the same time, you understand what's happening. So if what they're expecting is not what they're saying, it means that the belief in the American dream have begun to die.
Yes.
But with the current new administration, though, I have this fear that if a new survey is conducted, given how the President Trump has started with the repercussions of his executive order, you would have more people, far more people having that trust deficit in the government. Well, the last response he took, I think that person was very poetic in the words that he was using to describe the situation.
Yes.
But I think that it rests with the Trump administration to actually correct some of those wrongs that had happened in America. The American young people look up to his administration for a lot. He talks about make America great again, MAGA. So if he can deliver on that, then I think trust would have been rebuilt. It won't take a day. Well, I don't want to say it may not take. It may take more than this administration, but there's a lot that this administration can do to rebuild that trust.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's important also to add that you see, trust is a social capital. And which means, of course, you have to deposit it to be able to withdraw.
Wow.
And of course, a lot of people had overdrawn what was deposited by generations past. My history lecturer told me a story, and he said he went into a restaurant in the UK, and in the front of the restaurant it was written, "Eat for free, your grandfather paid for it."
Wow.
And of course, when he was exiting, then of course there was this sign, "You have to pay for your grandchildren." Fortunately, a lot of people had gone in to eat what the grandfather had paid, but they are living without really paying for their grandchildren. And I think these are issues that we need to actually confront in our world, that we need to have a lot of deposits so that future generation of administrations and regime can have enough of those social capital to withdraw.
No problem. Talking about withdrawals, we are going to keep withdrawing. And of course, this one talks about Starmer urges the introduction of wealth tax instead of cutting disability benefits. And of course, this one says, this is Andrews. And Andrews says, sorry, but reform is needed. But those who are disabled should not be penalized. They are basically on the gravel train. Should it not be hard to segment the database in several categories and make some decisions? Someone else jumps in, which is Hodgson, and Hodgson says, no one objects to severe disability people getting help, but millions have abused the benefits and the system, and the taxpayers are fed up working their off to fund the lifestyles of the lazy. I agree. It says millionaires live in UK in drones. So if benefits are not cut, all taxpayers will pay more. And of course, the last one I'm taking from here has to be Bishop. And Bishop says UK has a huge immigration problem. It's draining the country dry, just like the US. Fix immigration, and it will have to fix the budget. It will certainly have a major impact, and the UK already has high taxes, rising taxes, and may reduce income. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for commenting. Sorry, that's all I can take for the day. Don't forget to follow us always at Souk News TV on all our social media platforms. Comment, because we always come back and read that, because your comments mean a lot to us. Don't worry, I'm not about to leave you alone. I'm about to hand you over to the man who knows it all about sports and who is going to tell you a thing or two about tradition. We are talking about Honorable Chooks. Don't go anywhere, guys. See you in a bit.